Welcome to our How Learning Works module on the importance of attention. Being a busy college student, there are, of course, challenges to paying attention. In this submodule, we'll highlight some strategies you can use to increase your awareness about attention and provide actionable tips to enhance your ability to pay better attention, which will help your brain do what it's designed to do, learn. One of the biggest challenges to attention that we hear of most often from students is building motivation. Here are some ways to make motivation work in your favor. First, it can be helpful to remind yourself of the why. Let's say you arrive to class unmotivated to be there. Ask yourself questions such as, what do I need to get out of today's class to be prepared for the exam or successfully complete the assignment? How will today's topics connect to what we covered in the last class meeting? And how can I use this class to make progress in my major or toward my career goals? Asking yourself these or similar questions can quickly help establish the why, which in turn will help build the necessary motivation. Another strategy for building motivation is to set a goal. Establishing goals gives students something to work and plan toward, a framework by which students can allocate their time and resources. Enter into each learning experience with something specific you want to learn, clarify, or accomplish. Taking it one step further, writing down or sharing these goals with a family member or peer can add in a layer of accountability, which can help maintain the motivation to achieve the goal. A third strategy to consider is building in rewards. The brain is wired to respond to rewards, meaning it's a powerful motivator. Make a favorite activity like spending time with friends, playing video games, or going for a run, the reward for writing a quality draft of your paper, or even going to every one of your classes that day. Try offering yourself an hour of TV after you've practiced teaching concepts during a group session. Another key component of attention is the ability to be present. To be present means to physically be where the attention needs to happen, such as the classroom, whether in person or virtually, along with being mentally there. Let's review some tips for being present in order to maximize your attention. The first step is to eliminate distractions. Some of this can be accomplished by managing your learning environment. A learning environment is any place where you're trying to take in new information, connect concepts, apply information, complete an assignment, or practice a new skill. That is, a learning environment is any environment in which you're trying to learn. The physical classroom, the virtual classroom, if taking an online or blended course, and the space where you do your homework and other academic time on task are all learning environments. To manage the learning environment means to take steps to maximize attention, reduce distraction, and be as productive as possible, which can be particularly important in a remote learning setting. It can be challenging to find a productive learning environment when working from or learning at home. There are many other activities done there, including spending time with family or pets, sleeping, watching TV, cooking food, playing video games, and so on. A good workspace is somewhere you won't be distracted, preferably separate from your comfort spaces. Experiment until you can find an optimal space for learning. This can be at your kitchen table, desk, or even sitting outside in nice weather. Once you've determined your go-to learning space, consider the following tips to help maximize your attention. If you're living with other people, whether roommates or family members, establish a do not disturb routine and communication system so they don't interrupt your learning time on task. If your space is naturally noisy, consider using a white noise app or machine to turn out sounds. Or, if you have to use a device to complete an assignment, try using a website like Freedom or Cold Turkey to minimize distractions and block pop-ups. If noise is helpful to you, create your study soundtrack. Some learners can get into the zone with the right type of music. Having the TV on typically is a distraction, not an aid to attention. Instead, consider finding ambient music that your brain will come to associate with learning. Having a study playlist in Spotify, Pandora, or other streaming platform can quickly set the tone for your learning. Finally, practice single tasking. When having a conversation, listening to a class lecture, or watching a movie, our brain is taking in information. If this activity is paired with taking out your cell phone to play a game, text, or browse social media, the brain's attention is split between more than one set of stimuli. The brain does not have the ability to multitask, and the more often you do this, the more you're forcing the brain to pay less attention to any one thing. The results can actually be decreasing your brain's ability to concentrate, meaning paying full attention, and think deeply about one thing. Don't believe me? Try the myth of multitasking activity at the end of this video. By single tasking, you're building more efficient brain chemistry, priming the brain to get the most out of every learning situation, which will help you be able to recall and apply information in the long term. Now that we've laid a solid foundation of why paying attention is critical to learning and discussed a number of actionable strategies you can use to focus and channel your attention, I hope you'll join me in the next submodule where we'll discuss the when of learning.